I'm John Saxon, and as you can see, I play Lieutenant Fuller. I realize now this is wonderful music in the beginning of a film that brings on questions of horror and fear, since Christmas is supposed to be just the opposite of that. And, of course, a great deal of the credit goes to the man whose name was appearing on the screen just then, Bob Clark, who wrote it and directed it. I was sent the script of Black Christmas sometime before I was actually came to Toronto to work on it. And a strange thing happened. I was made an offer, and I read the script and liked it a lot. I even ventured to guess that it would be a very successful film. Then I was informed, unfortunately, that a mistake had been made and another actor had been hired by some other members of the production staff, so that they apologetically had to rescind the offer. I was very disappointed. I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly how many days later I got a call. I believe in the morning or early afternoon of a weekday, from my agent and asking if I could get on a plane and go to Toronto to play the role of Lieutenant Fuller. I said yes and arrived late one night. I'm sure it was close to midnight. I was taken from the airport directly to a set, which will appear shortly in the film, to do my first scene. What I'm seeing now reminds me of things that I didn't remember seeing the first time.
Oh, by the way, how come I was the only one there working tonight?
We were there this afternoon, Bob.
Which is the very subtle and but substantial build-up.
Have you got your Santa Claus suit ready?
Yeah. What time the little bastards arrive?
To the existence and presence of the character, the entity in the film that provides this threat and horror.
Bob, it's for you. Long distance. Oh, great. Hang on, I'll take it in the other room.
We never see his face. Maybe this is a kind of a throwback to imagination and the use of it, allowing the audience to do so. Maybe like the old days of radio dramas, including ones that I listened to when I was a kid and got frightened by.
Shut up in there! I can't hear a damn thing! Hello?
The Inner Sanctum, The Shadow.
I can't hear you. Operator, I can't hear what's coming from the other end. Can you? Yeah.
Some of you out there may not remember any of those shows, radio shows.
Hi, Mom. Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, we're just having a little party. No, I've had a couple. Oh, come on, I'm not drunk.
I remember my first visit to this particular set of Sorority, where I met the other actors involved. I knew Keir Delay. We were in a yoga class together in Beverly Hills. He was pretty good at yoga, too. But I had never met Olivia Hussey or Margot Kidder. I was a little taken aback by Margot Kidder. She was acting,
Who the hell is he?
not on camera, just behaving somewhat similar to the character she plays. And it only occurred to me recently, she might have been just trying to stay in character. She was using a lot of kind of
Yeah, sure, I'm fine.
expletives and so on.
Chris, wait up, I'll give you a ride.
Put the Christmas music back on.
But I was very impressed. I thought she was a very lovely and great-looking woman.
You want to go skiing for a few days? Yeah, sure, Bob.
I had seen Olivia Hussey in Romeo and Juliet
Anyone else want to come?
and thought she was kind of astonishingly beautiful and very good in the Franco Zeffirelli movie. The other actors I'd met for the first time, wasn't familiar with them.
You know, an interesting thing about being an actor, an artist, any kind of thing in relation to films is truly going back and revisiting work that you've done, because sometimes you know you have an interesting idea, and but sometimes you don't realize how interesting it is until much later in life. I'm not speaking merely of my own participation. I liked what I saw of myself.
He's expanded his act. Could that be one person? No, Claire, that's the Mormon Tabernacle.
The film itself made so much more than an impression on me. It created feelings in me that I probably wasn't capable of having at the time I made the film, a sense of participation. And of course, I think this is something natural that happens with age and maturity. You understand greater depth about things, and each and every development in the film, and each and every other character, particularly Olivia Hussey, her sensitivity, her pained conflicts, and so on.
Pretty big cunt. Pretty big
The plot and the way it was treated. I wound up having an experience of, or a triggered experience in me of, I don't know what, horror or anguish that I think is involved. It is an emotion that is, I think, the undercurrent of horror
Stick your
films.
tongue in it. That'll give you a charge.
I'll stick my tongue up your pretty pussy.
You fucking creep.
I'm going to kill you.
Well, it's certainly a suggestion of multiple personalities. As far as the dialogue, I think I'm sort of astonished, considering it's 20-something years ago. It seems to me that it was pretty
I think you should provoke somebody like that. Bob.
candid and
minor league in the city, I get
actually
to-
before its time, seems to me.
You know, that town girl was raped a couple of weeks ago.
I was sort of surprised, I think.
Darling, you can't rape a townie.
You really are too much, Barb.
Oh, come on. This is a sorority house, not a convent.
I'll see you later. I'm gonna go pack.
Then again, thinking later on, Bob Clark
Come on, Claire.
managed to push limits of that kind of thing in other films.
Packing anyway.
Hasn't she had enough trouble fitting in here without you getting at her all the time?
Come on, I know a professional virgin when I see one.
Hey, can I get a hand out here?
Speaking of professional virgins, here we have the Queen of Vaudeville, circa 1891.
Where have you been? I've been shopping. You know, I think the stores must take tacky lessons this time of year.
This lady looks like Shelley Winters in in this scene.
Another coffee.
Animals. It's always good to have animals around.
Mrs. Mack's been looking all over for you.
They give signals
Puss.
that other people don't pick up.
Got some things to do. Let's see.
I should say that people don't pick up. Doesn't seem like an accident either that in the early his telephone calls, there are just moments where the moaner's voice sounds a little bit like Keir Dullea. Bob Clark planned his shots with great detail.
Claude?
Everyone has a very, very subtle progression over the last. You now know the person behind the cellophane has moved slightly.
Claude? Who is that? Who is it?
I'd like to also mention the difference between, although there are some scenes that are graphic in this, but not many, it really avoids something that became prevalent later.
Come on, Mrs. Mack, put it on.
Put it on?
Come on, Mrs.
Oh, come on, I'm not going to bed.
Come on, please.
Put it on. Anything for you girls?
Because it's Christmas.
Hey, all right.
Music is good too. Carl Zitra. Knew him from Los Angeles, I believe. I seem to recall knowing him from Los Angeles, and then either meeting him first in Toronto and then knowing him in Los Angeles, or vice versa. I can picture him very clearly. I haven't seen him probably since making this film.
Before booze.
It's a nice note that the house mom, played by Marion Wallman, is in step, so to speak, with the times, and not what you might have as the prude. There would be no need for it, I suspect, because we've got enough of a story here and tension. And her character allows for it more, a certain kind of tolerance of the kid's behavior.
Too good to me.
Oh.
And, well, it's an interesting choice to play it this way. I think that was another good feature of the film. Everybody's character was distinguished nicely.
Hello?
Hello, is Jess there, please?
Yeah, wait a second, Peter. Jess, it's for you. It's him. Hello?
Hi, how was the party?
Oh, it was good. Too bad you couldn't make it.
I've been practicing for 4 days straight. I'm really wiped out.
Yes, I know.
Jess, dear, you won't forget to put out the lights.
But you've got to find some time. I've got to talk to you.
You sound funny. What's the matter?
Nothing's the matter. I just want to talk to you.
Why don't you tell me now?
Because I want to talk to you face to face.
Jess, I haven't been to bed in 3 nights. I'm just not in the mood to be playing games.
Look, Peter, we'll talk about it tomorrow, okay?
Another good element is that among all the girls and their
right.
different kinds of personality, there's one deeply involved with a guy,
Shortly, I guess I'm just exhausted.
even at this point.
Yeah, it's okay.
It becomes more important as the film goes on.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, good night.
Comic relief as well. If she'd been a fuddy-duddy, well.
Jesus, I wouldn't wear this to have my liver out.
Pace is kind of leisurely. Each thing is allowed a kind of space rather than rushed.
Claire?
That's pretty horrific.
Little baby bunting, daddy's gonna hunting, gonna fetch a...
You know, I even wonder how they managed to do that so well. Obviously, there was space for the actress to breathe. She did a very good job of selling that, having been killed and being in that frozen position. Just happened to pass by this place 25 minutes ago. Saw it for the first time in 27 years, the set at the University of Toronto, the very gate where the scene is being played.
When I read the script, again, there's something like I said before. I immediately sensed, I suppose, the whole dynamic of the story, the whole, how good it was woven together, and that there were lots of switches and unexpected turns. But this was, again, an actor, I've been acting at that time probably 20 years, or almost 20 years. So I was speaking like a professional artisan, a craftsman, you know. I thought about the script that way. Seeing it 27 years later, I experience the pieces put together better like a spectator. And in that sense, it jumps out at me now, as I hope it will all spectators.
Some of the girls are over here today, but I haven't seen Claire. The place isn't far. I'll tell you how to get there.
Ho, 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 shit.
Santa, please.
Look, she's supposed to be going away with me for the weekend, goddammit.
Well, we decided that we would go skiing for a few days, didn't we?
Yeah, and I've been looking forward to this for 3 weeks. Bitch.
Isn't Santa naughty?
Oh, fuck.
I just don't know, Mr. Harris.
Maybe this was the beginning of a kind of, really the expression of the counterculture, huh?
Having a party there today for underprivileged children.
Yes, I know.
I think this film, I've made some mention that there was a sort of a leisurely development of the pace. It wouldn't have occurred today. Today, and probably from that time onward, a general rule was you got to catch the audience right away. If you don't get them in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you've lost them. Well, life has sped up so much, and with it, I think to some degree maybe a coarseness and an impatience that doesn't allow for a slow development to draw you into the people, to the story, and what they may be involved in or experiencing. I think it may be we're getting into a little bit of distance and speed. No time to really think through things and feel things.
This is very kind of you, Mr. Harrison.
I'll just get my bag.
Is he going to open the door to look?
I didn't send my daughter here to be drinking and picking up boys. Oh, shit.
You're supposed to be responsible.
For the morals of every girl in this goddamn house. These broads would hunt the leaning tower of Pisa if they could get up there. I do my best. I don't know what the bastards expect of me. Christ's sake. Claude? Is that you, Claudikins? Claude? Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on, Claude. Come say goodbye to Mommy. Is that you, Claude?
Oh, Jesus, Claude, look what you made me do.
Nothing happens by accident.
Come on, Claude. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on, Claude, I gotta go. Here, kitty. Oh, God damn it, Claude, you little prick.
This is very kind of you, Mr. Harrison.
Think nothing of it.
I'm pregnant.
What?
I'm pregnant.
Jess, that's fantastic.
I don't want it.
You don't want it?
No. I'm going to have an abortion.
I'm Keir Delay. I played Olivia Hussey's boyfriend, Peter. Well, there I am, looking very 60s, even though it was filmed in the 70s. And Olivia Hussey was a lovely lady.
Peter, I can't.
Oh, Christ, Jess.
I don't remember too much about the making of this film since I was only on it for 3 days.
Don't you ever consider...
It's only recently that my wife pointed out to me that this film was filmed around the time of the big Supreme Court decision to allow abortions. I don't remember exactly which came first, but it hadn't occurred to me at the time. It's like kind of interesting.
Why don't you just get out of here?
I think Olivia Hussey's performance is, as we say in the industry, very, very much on the money, very accurate.
There's nothing.
She's a serious person who seems to consider everything seriously and have deep feelings.
Will you be there at 9 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you tonight.
Yes, dear. Now, I'm sure there's nothing wrong.
Of course, that's Margot Kidder, who later
Talking with a friend of hers.
was to achieve great fame with her portrayal of Lois Lane in Superman.
Yes, well, if...
I never met her. I didn't meet anybody on this film except Olivia Hussey and the director and the crew. I sort of was in an isolated situation. All my scenes are with Olivia Hussey.
Goodbye, dear.
You aren't.
I was living in London at the time, and my agent called me one day and said, "There's a film offer here," and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to see my parents, who lived in, when I say London, I meant London, England, incidentally. My parents lived in New York, so I thought it'd be an opportunity to see them, and it was a paying job. And Olivia Hussey was in it, so the fact that she was in it, I admired her work in Romeo and Juliet. So for all those reasons, I said yes.
Look, I'm telling you, you have the wrong number.
What your mother and I must know is...
Look, I really don't think you're taking this as seriously as you should. I mean,
we may
honestly,
appear
we
alarmed,
made this
but
whole thing up.
Now, hold it. Jeez. Could you just give it to me once?
That's Margot Kidder again. And not only was she very funny in this scene, but she is, I think, the best performance in the film, including my own performance. I think she's absolutely fabulous. Now, the actress on the right is Andrea Martin, who was nominated for a Tony, or she may have won a Tony for a musical, the name of which escapes me at the moment. And then she's also at present starring as Auntie Ella in Oklahoma on Broadway.
Oh, here, Mrs. Mack, let me help.
My Beautiful Year, that was the name of the musical that Andrea Martin was nominated for a Tony or won a Tony. I couldn't think of the name of it.
Oh, Mrs. Mack, there was another one of those calls just now.
Oh, what there, dear?
It was weird. Some woman screaming, then a man wailing.
Claire Harrison's father was here today.
Oh, really? I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye to her.
Well, you still might. Claire didn't meet him where she was supposed to. I thought she went over to the fraternity.
Where is it? Those bottles don't drink their salt, for God's sake. Eureka.
Excuse me. Could you give me the number at the sorority house? Please.
Now, a debate came up about the pronunciation of the word about to be used.
It's fellatio 20880.
This is my favorite scene in the film.
Fellatio.
It's quite funny, I think.
It's
Doug McGrath is a wonderful actor. We worked subsequently to this, or maybe it was before this.
Capital F, E, little L, L.
I thought the pronunciation was fellatio.
Thanks.
I think this caused about a 10-minute discussion back and forth until Bob Clark insisted that it was fellatio, at least for him.
Hi, what's up?
Have you seen Claire today?
No, she went home.
No, she didn't. No one knows where she is.
Are you serious?
I thought maybe
Is Art Hindle still a smartass?
No, not.
He used to be.
Well, her father...
But maybe as we all get older, sometimes we...
So he went down to the police station with Phil and Bob.
What happened?
The more I see of Olivia Hussey's performance, the more
I don't know.
can see or her sensitivity and suggestion of concern and feeling.
Let's be playing the piano, or supposedly playing the... Those are not my hands, because I don't play the piano. That is me. I guess it was a good performance, because I don't play the piano, and if I convince you, then I guess it must be a good acting job. Not playing the piano, it wasn't like I just had to move my body in sync with what I thought was the rhythm of the piece, and then they did an intercut of a pianist playing, wearing my jacket, so it looked like it was my hands.
Imagine that was a good composition composed by Carl Zitra to suggest somebody who had great rage and anguish inside.
Well, she's out for Christmas holidays, but there was a band practice over at the high school this afternoon, and Janice plays the clarinet. And when she didn't come home, I phoned Melody Green. That's her
Melody Green.
best friend. And they hadn't seen her.
I think that was the name of one of the assistants on the film.
13 years old, Lieutenant, and my husband.
There I am.
He's out on the road, and so I came over here.
Yeah, well, is it really so unusual for her to be just a few hours late, Mrs. Quinn?
Oh, yes. She should have been home at noon. We were going to buy a present for her father.
Nash, you stupid son of a bitch. You got a big goddamn mouth.
What the hell are you talking about?
Hi, Chris. How's your brother?
Well, everybody knows each other here.
What's up?
I want to know why nothing's being done about Claire Harrison being missing and why this idiot gets away with saying the things he does.
You're a friend of Claire Harrison?
Yeah, I've been taking her out. Well, this is Jess Ken. She lives in the same sorority house as Claire.
All right, come on in. Sergeant, bring me the file on the Harrison girl. And take care of this.
Don't remember if that was an accident or was planned.
Well, like so often for an actor, jobs come in, and there doesn't seem to be a particular rhyme or reason why they
Henry, but I just have no appetite.
come in for an actor from this place as opposed to that place. It just seems that in my career, I have worked a lot in Canada. I mean, a lot.
Stay right here. I'm sure she'll call her show up soon.
You know, I've done something like 5 feature films in Canada, a TV series called The Star Lost, another, a nighttime soap, numerous dramas for the CBC. I did a play in Toronto, and I've always had wonderful experiences. I've really, and more recently, in real recent times, I did 2 movies for television, one with Sissy Spacek and one with Jennifer Love Hewitt, which was the Audrey Hepburn story, and I played Audrey Hepburn's father. And I did A Witchblade, which is a television series being shot in Toronto. So I've enjoyed just about all my experiences working there.
Do you know how I know this? Because I went down to...
I did Enter the Dragon just probably in the same year that I did Black Christmas, or within 12 months. What I felt that they shared, in my estimation, of was that they would be successful. But in Enter the Dragon's case, it was a matter of something that I felt coming on. I had been interested in the Asian martial arts for, I don't know, 10 years prior, 12, maybe something like that. Most people didn't know much about it, weren't that interested. But I began, as I passed through my interest, I saw that all of a sudden there was vast interest coming up in a very broad part of the population. There were karate dojos in almost every mall by 1972, and different kinds and so on. So I sensed that something about the subject matter of that film had become common interest, and therefore people were ready for a film about it, a dramatization and an action film about it. With Black Christmas, I just sensed, I think the dynamics of tension and twists, unexpected turns and so on, being something that worked.
Kind of a perplexing scene.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I guess it just suggests more about Margot's character. Don't know if anybody really suggested that she was involved or fault, but...
Well, I'm about to break this piano, and I kind of vaguely remember that. If I haven't already said it, I was only on this film for 3 days, so the whole experience didn't really stick in my mind very much. I hardly remember the experience of making it, but I do kind of remember that that was a very heavy object. And it was kind of fun. It's like, how often do we get to bust a beautiful piano? Because they had it built into the budget.
He's at the end of his patience, isn't he?
He's in the dining room.
And the overtones of the music continue to be deep piano chords, almost just bass. Could be that same kind of motion, or continuance of what we saw.
I don't really recall preparing particularly for the piano scene. It was just that I was given license to go bananas. And I think I had fun destroying a piano. I mean, it was kind of one of those things like taking a jackhammer to a car and busting it up. It was kind of like a kid given an opportunity to do something way out.
To extend their thanks to you for coming out on this cold night to help. Now, Mrs. Quaid has told us that Janice most likely came through this park on her way home from school today. So the first thing we'll do is comb the park. When I tell you, I want you all to assemble on the south edge of the park with your assigned officer.
This is the first scene I did in the movie.
Spread out evenly.
It was taken from the airport to the set.
Leading the way.
This must have been about 2 in the morning.
Spread out and follow them. George and Carly, stay out on the flanks.
And it was cold. And windy.
Now, if any of you find anything, I want you to send someone out immediately to report it to me. Is that clear? Are there any questions?
I think it was appreciated that I could make it up and get on the set and learn the lines and perform. And I was glad to be there.
I've only done really 2 films that are somewhat, well, this is definitely a horror film, but I did a film that was certainly a tension-filled vehicle that bordered on being a horror film, made for Otto Preminger, which was not as pleasant an experience as this was, that I did with Laurence Olivier. And it was called Bunny Lake is Missing. And where I did play, in that case, I was not a red herring, I was the bad guy.
Claude? Claude? Claude?
Interesting too, the expressive audio effects.
Claude?
The amplification of the cat.
Where are you?
Wasn't done too much at that time, I don't think.
Get up in the attic, Claude. Gee. All right, goddammit, you can wait.
Famous last words.
Claude, are you up here? Jesus Christ, I don't see how it could be up here. Claude? Jesus, Claude, now look what you made me do. Oh, Jesus, I've got to clean this place up one of these days.
Incidentally, I'm told that there are many websites, of which there are separate pages for Black Christmas. It's something I'm going to look into on my own internet scrambling. Kind of curious about reactions.
Hey! Anybody there? Anybody there?
Don't remember this fellow's name. Or the characters. Again, there's in my mind, the connection and the suggestion of Keir Dullea character, the rage, the breaking things, Peter Smythe character. I laugh because of the switch of what she's screaming at. It's not what we've just seen, it's something else. And speaking of seeing, we never, up to now anyway, have seen anything of the killer, the perpetrator, but he's in a position to see everything.
Hello? Hello? Who is this?
I don't recall doing any of the voices, Billy being the murderer. I don't recall. I know I didn't do it physically. I was not my eye peeking through or my body in shadow. I definitely did not do that. And I don't think I did any of the voices.
Who are you? For God's sake, what are you doing?
I know what you did, Billy! Filthy Billy! Billy! Billy!
Stop this!
Again, at the beginning of that conversation, it sounded a little bit like Keir Dullea's character.
Mrs. Mack, are you home? Mrs. Mack, are you...
I'm aware of the films that came out after this, some of them. There was such a direct copy of the plot and the direction of Black Christmas. There are many others that I haven't seen that seem to be even more indebted, at least from what I've told, like Halloween.
Who is it? Ha 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 ha. I play a red herring in this film, and I think this is where I come stealthily down the stairs because you don't know who it is. You think it's the creepy monster that's living in the house. Turns out to be
I've
me.
been getting obscene phone calls,
And I
want to
think
know
this
what
is a scene I liked. As far as the acting performance in this, it was pretty straightforward. I mean, it was, to be very honest, not the most demanding role
Jesus, you scared the
I've ever
hell out
done.
of me. Why didn't you say
And
something?
other than that kind of frenzied way I played the piano and broke up the piano, it's pretty straight stuff.
I was upstairs having a little sleep. I hope you don't mind, but it got a little cold out there waiting for you.
I'm sorry I was late, Peter.
Yeah.
Claire Harrison is missing. I was out with a search party looking for her.
Yes. Hello?
I think I like this scene. There's another scene
Report something.
that I may have even liked better, but this is okay.
How did the recital go?
It's not,
How do you think it went?
again, as I may have said, it's not the most memorable role
What kind
in
of a
my
game are you playing?
history.
I thought you wanted to talk, so why don't you quit attacking me and we'll try to have a rational adult
As far as
conversation?
acting is concerned, my
Yes.
late wife and I
Now stay on the
founded a workshop for actors in Connecticut, actors, writers, and directors, called the Theater Artists Workshop of Connecticut.
What's the address?
And it's been going now for about 20 years.
6 Belmont Street.
We started it about 10 years after this film was made.
Well, did you call the phone company? Oh, yeah? Well, miss, we're very busy here. There's been a child murdered in the park. I don't know when we can get a man on it. It's probably just one of your boyfriends playing a little joke. Yeah, well, I'll report it and try to get a man on it just as soon as possible. I'm sorry, miss.
567 Queen West, 567 Queen West, they're holding a suspect, 407. 481, 407.
I think I was mistaken. This is the scene I think that I like the best. It's simple, connected,
A search party that was looking
and
for Claire.
I think my work is okay in this film. I don't mean to, I'm not putting it down. It's the most challenging role that I've ever played. But I like this scene. So, of the two scenes, I would say this is the one that
Now listen, Jess, I know you're
I
upset,
like the best.
but I've got something to tell you.
There's a little bit more for me to do, and I like the simple reality that I have in this film and the connection that I have with Olivia in this film.
I've lived in one room for 8 years, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to line up behind 6 people every time I want to take a bath. I've had it.
I think that I brought a certain, what I call simple reality. There was nothing that bothered me in it. Maybe when I was,
Well, say something.
I was about to say when I was playing the piano toward the end, I kind of seemed to be emotionally wrought. Might have been a little over the top, but that's obviously what was needed because you had to think that I was possibly the murderer. So if I hadn't been that kind of over the top, it might not have sold that because the character I'm playing is definitely a red herring.
You can't ask me to drop everything I've been working for and give up all my ambitions because your plans have changed. Be realistic. I can't marry you.
Sure you can. What does it change? We could be married. You could still do anything you wanted to do.
Peter, I don't want to marry you.
All right. What about the baby?
I didn't want to bother you with it, sir.
Oh, you didn't? The character of Nash is played by actor Douglas McGrath.
Yes, it is. A high school girl's been murdered. Mr. Harrison's daughter is missing. And now at the house where she lives, the other girls are getting obscene phone calls. Don't you think we ought to look into it, Nash? Well, Lieutenant, I guess, sure.
As you can see, he's very good at being the comic foil, which, incidentally, he went on to become famous for in other films after this in Canada. Now, for those of you who started using telephones after the old rotary dial went out of place, there used to be exchanges That is to say, words, and the first two letters of the word were correspondent to numbers, but phone numbers were passed with the exchange, like Crestview was CR, or Granite in Los Angeles, GR, 4, 5, whatever. So that's the purpose and the reason for the exchange that that Margot Kidder passed on is fellatio, F-E. Mm-hmm.
Fellatio? Yeah, it's a new exchange. F.E.
I don't have to explain what fellatio is, do I?
Yeah, Felicia. One of the girls that was...
And that's John Rudder having a good time with the matter.
Yeah. Nash, I don't think you could pick your nose without written instructions.
Yeah, he's perfect for this role. He's perfect for this role. We see him once more? Yes. Well.
I know. Something dirty, ain't it?
Oh, we're breaking things again.
You're talking about killing our baby as though you were having a wart removed.
Mm-hmm.
Now can you see why I didn't want to tell you?
What the hell are you trying to do to me?
What are you doing to yourself?
Of course, you also can see by the clothes and the hairstyles of the men, and I suppose the women too, sense of the period and the time.
Peter, you're not going to tell me what I
And
can
also, because constant this issue of abortion linked with
I think you better leave.
If you try getting
murder,
Get out.
which in this context is
You're going to be very sorry.
is a dramatic context and understandable. And of course, arouses a detective suspicion.
Hi, Peter.
That's the only time I was ever with anybody else other than Olivia, was for that one shot in the whole film. The only time I was with any other cast members.
Yeah, I'm okay. Any more news?
No, but there's some people here to see about the phone calls.
Andrea Martin,
Jeff, this is Lieutenant Fuller.
who plays Phil,
Graham, Bill Graham.
I understand later went on to work with the equivalent of Saturday Night Live, or Second City in Canada. Great comic, comedian, stand-up, or improvisational comic. I vaguely remember her off-stage personality suggesting kind of wit and humor.
Hello, this is Lineman Graham. It's 6 Belmont. I'm working line 559-6114. Right.
This afternoon I got a call from a woman that I thought was the wrong number. But then she started screaming at me.
Well, who was the last one here to see Miss Harrison?
I think I was.
When? Approximately.
Last night, about 10:30.
Watching myself in this part, I'm getting the feeling that I was directed to be restrained and leisurely, perhaps, I don't know, to belie the tension, or maybe to increase the tension. Often,
Do you have any emotional problems, anything like that?
I sort to be kind of intense in ways, and here, perhaps there's, I don't know, an underlying, or letting the situation be intense.
Sure. Well, so you were the last one to see her sometime this morning?
Last night.
Right, last night. Well, did anyone see her this morning?
No, I didn't. And all the other girls have gone for the holidays.
There's a kind of intimacy about film, and when you have a special relationship with an actor and a director, especially in an intimate scene, it can be quite enjoyable. The kind of, your focus is so kind of narrow and small And that can be a challenge, and it takes a certain technique.
Is she the one?
The reason the theater is, for me, a preferable experience is that it's a greater challenge, it's a greater demand, because you have to be just as real. For example, some of the intimate scenes with Olivia Hussey toward the end of the film. They were pleasant, but they weren't greatly demanding. But if I did that same scene on stage, even if it seemed simple, I would have to project. I wouldn't have a microphone. So I would have to reach the last row and be heard by the last row and not come across by the person sitting in the front row as overacting or as shouting. And that takes a special technique. You also have the experience in theater of going from A to Z, which you don't have in film. Most films are done out of sequence. So in a way, it's more of an actor's media than film is. You're in command of your performance. And then there's the magical thing of the audience that you have, which in film you don't. You have an audience of one. And again, that's a special, intimate experience. Your director is your audience. Sometimes the crew, especially when they applaud you, which is pretty rare because they've seen it all. And so when you get applauded in film, it's very special. But in general, in theater, if it's a 3-character play, for example, or a 3-character scene, there's a 4th character. Nobody ever thinks about this, and that's the audience. They're palpable, and they change every night. It's slightly different. So you're not even though it's the same words and the same lines and the same movements, it's never exactly the same every night. And you have, so there's an excitement about that and trying to, what's it going to be like tonight? And dealing with things that happen unexpectedly. Film, something bad happens, you cut and you do it again.
I guess I'm just exhausted. I've been taking these pills for my cold and they knocked me out. Will you be okay if I go up to bed?
Yes, of course.
Are you sure?
Yes, go up and get some rest.
Call me if there's any news.
You're watching this closely and identifying or getting closer to the characters than I've ever been. All of them, their personalities and tendernesses about them.
Yeah. Everything clear on your end, Jeff? Okay. Sure. Yeah. Now look, I'm gonna need about 10 more minutes. Now be sure you tell those people again, they gotta keep this guy on the...
When I was watching Black Christmas again, I noticed an American flag in the police station. And of course, I don't think this is done quite so often, although there are many films still made in Canada that are supposed to be taking place in the United States, and obviously there's a cost factor there. So it was trying to make Black Christmas look like it took place in an American city. Of course, I know Canada so well. Even when I made this film, I immediately recognized the University of Toronto, and the police somehow looked to me like Canadian police. They didn't look American to me. And I could hear the Canadian accent of all kinds of outs and aboutes that I could hear from a lot of the cast members. So had I not been in this film and I were to watch it, I would have known it was a Canadian film.
The wind in the background, I'm just picking up on. Let's say I don't mind watching now, I don't mind the way I was photographed at all, which reminds me that the cinematographer was Reggie Morris. I do believe I worked with his brother, Ozzie Morris, in England before this film. Don't remember very clearly, but I seem to recall that. And I think he did a splendid job throughout, and I'm particularly pleased with the way I was photographed, too.
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Asthma, huh? I played an asthmatic too once.
I guess I had a nightmare. I dreamed a stranger was coming in my room. I guess that's what gave me asthma, huh?
Take it easy. It's all right, Bella. Just relax.
That's a good title, Stranger in My Room. Again, I'm impressed, I suppose the word, and feel the cross reference between cross current between the joy of Christmas and the evil or the violence. That's about to happen. The idea of the multiple personality, really, I think, really emerged in film and in actual incidents of mass murders. And then again in future films like Silence of the Lambs and Manhunt and things like that. The shattered personality. Again, Hussey looks like a Madonna to me, which is appropriate.
Agnes, it's me, Billy. It's all right, Agnes. It's all right. Shh, pretty Agnes. Agnes, don't you tell what we did, Agnes.
One eye. I didn't comment much then because I was wincing.
Jean!
And still am.
What's up? Jean, get the children in the car. Oh, what's going on? Please, just get them into the car.
Interestingly enough, some years after the film was originally released, I don't remember how many years, 2 or 3, 4 years, they were going to have its the premiere of TV broadcast on one of the major networks in the States, and they changed the title to Stranger in the House. And there was some publicity about it, and right at the last minute, because of the Ted Bundy case, which was the serial killer down in Florida who had been killing college girls, the network canceled the release. It was never shown, which is kind of interesting.
Hello?
Hello? Who's there? Good! Good night!
The dialogue is never clear, but it... Ah.
Oh, my God.
That sounds like a reference to something like abortion, doesn't it?
Hello?
Jess, we didn't get him. There wasn't enough time. You'll have to keep him on the line longer.
I see.
When you said, oh my God, did you recognize something?
No. I guess it was just kind of getting to me.
Getting to me, too.
When he called before, did he use more than one voice like this?
Yes, he did. He used several different voices.
I meant to ask you tonight, who was the guy that was leaving when I arrived at your house?
My boyfriend, Peter.
Were you having a fight? But Jess, I'll have to call you back in a little while. Are you all right? I'll call you back in a little while and we'll get him next time.
I guess the purpose of my reserve is not to make matters more
I don't care what kind of a uniform.
frightening for the others.
You goddamn right. I do it again, too. The bastard was trespassing.
Hogan got an ass full of birdshot.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make some bitch pick every one of them out with his teeth. The next time you're gonna get the gun up your ass. Sideways.
Pretty graphic.
If you laugh, you can, and I'll bust you to Boy Scout, I swear.
Well, he laughed a lot.
If you think it was Peter, then why didn't you just tell the police?
Well, because I'm not really sure.
Well, they should be.
Nice bird's eye angle.
God, Jess, I haven't had a minute's sleep around here. There's been so much noise in the house. What the hell was all that yelling about?
Mom had an asthma attack. She was having a nightmare.
Is she all right?
Yeah, she's fine. She's sleeping. He repeated almost word for word what Peter said to me tonight.
Couldn't it just be a coincidence?
Oh, God, Phil, I don't know. I'm so confused.
Oh, look, Jess, I really don't think it could be Peter. You know, I don't like Peter much, but I don't think he's that sick.
I can't believe Peter would do this. He's so gentle most of the time. Oh, God, Phil, you know, I'm really getting scared.
Look, are you sure that cop's still out there? Yeah, he's there.
The deterrent.
Hello?
Jess?
Yes?
Oh, God, please help me.
Oh, look, Peter, don't cry. We can straighten things out. There's nothing to get so upset about.
Now Peter's beginning to sound, of course, like the moaner.
It's Bill Graham. You want me to trace that one?
Yeah, try and get it.
Right.
Jess, we can't kill the baby. Please, Jess, we can't kill the baby.
Peter, where are you?
Please, Jess. You know how I feel about the baby.
Don't do this.
Jess, don't hurt the baby.
Stop this, Peter.
You are her baby. I know you.
I really like this sequence here with this man from the telephone company trying to chase the call. I thought he was very good. I think he's very good in the little bit we see of him cutting back and forth during the film. And I like the pace that the film has during this section. I found the pacing of the film a little old-fashioned in general, but I thought it was kind of more like filmmaking today, the kind of quick cutting that you often see.
Yes.
Jess, Lieutenant Fuller. You want to to tell me what that's all about?
You listened to that?
Yes. What did he mean about killing the baby?
Jess, it's important that you tell me.
I'm pregnant. I told him I didn't want to have the baby.
When did you tell him this?
Border 121. Today.
Just today, you're sure?
Yes.
We can't kill the baby. That's a strange way of putting it.
Peter's an artist. He's very high-strung.
Neurotic, maybe?
No, no more than a lot of people.
Jess, are you telling me the truth?
I've got a feeling you're holding something back from me. Now, I don't want it to be Peter, but if it is, he needs help. Do you know what I mean? The sooner the better.
During the filming, I was very, very impressed with, as I think I may have mentioned, with every shot that Bob Clark had planned out. He had storybooked everything. And it was clear and precise about the nature of every scene that we were going to shoot, how it was going to be filmed. And I was very impressed with this.
Well, he lives at Baker House, but when he gets like this, he usually goes down to the recital hall at the music conservatory and plays.
And look, Jess, if you get any more calls, you're going to have to keep them on the line longer. You're not giving us enough time to get a trace.
I'm trying. You know, it really upsets me.
Yeah, right, of course. Look, you're doing fine. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Thank God.
I knew it couldn't have been Peter.
Well, what can I tell you? Covered the entire campus area.
He also seemed to be impressed with what he told me one day was my ratio of takes, or prints to takes. That was something like 1.2 or something, which meant that I generally did everything in 1 or 2 takes or something like that. That was nice too.
Jess, do you want 1 aspirin or 2?
2, please.
Okay. What are you doing?
Some kind of search party.
Yes?
Sorry to scare you, miss, but we're with the search party.
What do you want?
Well, we wondered if you'd seen anything peculiar tonight.
Well, not until you got here. Oh, well, they scared the shit out of me.
Sorry, miss, but you do know there was a girl killed in the park tonight.
Yes, we heard.
Well, we're just helping them.
One of those codgers, I don't know who the actor is, the shorter, more roly-poly one, played
Well, we don't want to bother you at a time like that.
Elizabeth Ashley's father in Paperback Hero.
Noticed anything suspicious here tonight?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, well, you just keep your doors and windows locked, and you'll be safe.
Okay.
You understand?
Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
we will.
And remember, there might be others from the search party around, so don't be afraid. We'll be around to see that you're safe.
Good enough. Thank you very
Just remember to lock those doors and windows out, eh?
Okay.
Okay, then.
Bye-bye.
Good night now.
I'd rather face the killer.
No, seriously, do you realize this is the only door and window in this whole house that's locked?
Boy, I'm a brooder.
Get the Dean of Admissions on the phone.
The thinker, huh?
Tell him I want all records on a Peter Smythe, music student. Then have a car meet me out front.
Code 31, they're holding a suspect.
Barb, are you awake?
Well, we were spared any repetition of seeing things in that scene. But by now we know what's going on. We don't need to have the whole bowl of soup to know what it's all about.
Are you there? Phil! Hello?
You pig. You fat pig. You pig. You bitch pig. I'm like a train phone, baby. No! Really, no!
That was an interesting little cut. Leave it up to your own judgment. You know, you realize the serial killers have become a kind of a genre of their own in movies. Lots changed since Nortel came in, huh? Somewhere during the shooting of this, I bumped into or tried to hurdle a small iron fence near the university and didn't quite make it. I don't know if it appears in this, but I got a bump on my knee and it was swollen. I was very concerned, and all the Canadian athletes around said, oh, it was just a minor hockey type thing or a soccer matter, and I didn't complain anymore.
This is Graham. It's Group 140, Terminal 55.
Have we seen that shot of that poster before?
Lieutenant Fuller.
Yeah, Nash, what is it?
A phone company's on the other line, sir. They say they got a trace on this one.
Yeah, let's have it.
He says the calls are coming from number 6 Belmont Street.
For Christ's sakes, Nash, you got it wrong. That's where the calls are going into.
That's where they're coming from, too, sir.
Who's the... Who's the... Shit. Not as smart as he thought.
Jennings?
Jennings? Jennings? Jennings?
Oh,
Jennings, where the hell are you?
and there's the guard.
Nash? Nash!
Yes, sir.
Look, I can't get through to Jennings. I want you to call that girl. Nash, be calm. Don't tell her that the guy's in the house. Just tell her to put down the phone and walk straight out the front door. I'll be there in 5 minutes. And Nash, if you blow this, I'll kill you.
Well, now we understand why I'm trying to restrain myself
Where are you?
and my excitement.
Please answer me. Hello?
Who is this?
It's Jess.
Miss Bradford, this is Sergeant Nash. Are you the only one in the house?
No. Phil and Barbara upstairs asleep. Why?
All right. Now, I want you to do exactly what I tell you without asking any questions, okay? No questions.
Now just put the phone back on the hook, walk to the front door, and leave the house.
What's wrong?
Please, Miss Bradford, please just do as I tell you.
Okay.
I'll get Phil involved.
No, don't do that, Jess. Jess, the caller is in the house.
The calls are coming from the house.
Jess!
Jeff, get up! And don't go up there.
Now, often you hear people express questions about why does someone in a horror movie always walk right into what they're told or should know better than to approach. I won't attempt to answer that. You could say human nature. We do things like that.
Oh, please answer me.
I'll leave the question open to the viewer.
Phil!
Concern? She's a concerned person. Yeah.
Please answer me!
Oh, yes.
Please!
Likely to be the kind of person who wouldn't leave, actually. Really just do what she does. I once was so frightened as a child by the feeling of the presence of something that I was frozen. And I don't know how long it took me to be able to move to a kitchen where I saw a kitchen knife and pick it up like Tarzan. And I don't know what it was that scared me.
Bob? Phil?
It's me, Billy. Agnes, don't you tell what we did, Agnes.
Still, we've seen nothing to identify this person. I don't remember how soon after I finished making this film or that it was released that I was able to see it. I have a feeling there was a considerable time between the time it was finished and when I saw it. I traveled various places making other films. Maybe what I'm trying to say is that the distance between when it was made makes me a spectator and really enjoy it from a fresh perspective.
Jess? Jess, are you all right? Jess? Jess, are you in there?
I didn't really construct it in the sense of building something that was that's separate from who I am. It wasn't a real character role. It was pretty close to who I am, given the circumstances. So it really was bringing my own persona to the various situations that were in the script.
Jess? Jess?
Well, it's kind of interesting. It's like a time warp, going back in time and seeing oneself looking that young and kind of period with the long hair. And so that's kind of bizarre in a funny way.
Jess? Jess, is that you? Jess? Why didn't you answer me? What all you yelling about? Jess, you had me worried. What are you doing around here?
Interesting, my wife and I were watching this film the other day, and she said to me, I wonder if this was Bob Clark's homage to Romeo and Juliet, because this is how Romeo and this image, of course now she's alive and at that moment, but just that first shot of us lying in each other's arms, Romeo and Juliet are found dead by their respective families and the prince at the very end of the play.
Why would Peter start killing people?
There are a number of roles that I'm particularly proud of. One, I suppose in first place would be a film called David and Lisa, which was a sleeper. It was made for $190,000 and made millions for the people who made it. It was released in 1963, which put me on the map as an actor in film. That really began my film career. I had done one film before that called The Hoodlum Priest with Don Murray in 1960, but it was David and Lisa. I won a Golden Globe for my performance in that film, so I'm particularly proud of that. I'm very, I like two Canadian films that I like very much. One was called The Fox with Sandy Dennis, which was based on D.H. Lawrence short story, and released, as I remember, it was right after I did Space Odyssey, so I guess it was released in 98, which was also the year that Space Odyssey was released. And then in 1972, I did a film called Paperback Hero with Elizabeth Ashley, which was released the following year in 1973. So that would have been about a year and a half or so before Black Christmas. My favorite director are several. Would have to begin with Stanley Kubrick. Another favorite director of mine would be Mark Rydell, who directed The Fox.
Come on, get out.
Irvin Kershner, who directed my first film, The Hoodlum Priest. A Canadian director by the name of Peter Pearson, who directed
Should be all right, Mr. Harris.
Paperback Hero. I may be leaving something out.
Nash, will you see that everything's wrapped up?
All right, Lieutenant, will do.
Hey, Lieutenant.
Hey, you. Come on, out. You want to spend the night in the can? Move. Jesus, what's the matter with this guy?
He's suffering from shock. We have to get him to the hospital. Can you get us a car, Nash?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, McCloskey. You heard what the lieutenant said. All right.
I feel the tension as if I were watching it for the first time, which is really the way I actually feel. Error, misjudgment, assuming we know things about or what's happened when we don't, just to assure ourselves. Quick wrap-up. And the problem hasn't been eliminated at all.
Agnes, it's me, Billy.
The word existential comes to me. It's as if we're experiencing it as existence.